Shai by Shem Kakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders and great millstones who rule and teach well. All right, and a hearty shalom to the elect. Shalom to the elect. This is another candidate in the body of Hashem El Shai. Allow me to be able to come out here again and teach His word. All right. And we'll get straight into it. This is Second Ezra chapter 7. This is Second Ezra 7 and 42. It says, he answered me and said, this present life is not the end where much glory does abide. Therefore they have prayed for the weak. Right? And the time where a lot of glory is going to abide is when we're in the kingdom of the Lord. Okay? When we're in the Lord's kingdom. Kingdom, as the scriptures say. All right, this is Revelation, the 5th chapter. And the point is at 10, but I'm going to start at 5. It says, and one of the elders says unto me, weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, have prevailed to open the book and loosen the seven seals thereof. And this is how we got the understanding of who we are, all right? The Lord took the understanding away from us, okay, all right? Because of our multiple transgressions against him, all right? Year after year, day after day, month after month, of us just constantly sinning against the Lord. And the Lord took away our heritage, okay, all right? This is Jeremiah 17 and 4. It says, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger which shall burn forever. All right, and that fire, well, that fire started from us doing idol worship. Okay, all right, we are not supposed to be idol worshipers. Us being idol worshipers meaning worshiping other gods has put us in the position where we're at, where we are serving our enemies in a different country, man. All right. Ultimately, when it's all said and done, in a place where much glory will abide in the Lord's kingdom, all right, these nations are going to be serving us. But as of right now, since we have transgressed against the laws of the Lord, all right, He has us in a position where we are serving them, all right. And the main thing that got us in this position is idolatry, right? Spiritual adultery, right? Where we have worship and given things to other gods that we should be giving to Yahweh Shem Shai, such as sacrifice, right? Sacrifice of our time. Performing sacrifices in the right way in regards to how the Israelites did it in the Old Testament times, okay? Right? Not premeditated sin and then committing that sin, but having a sacrifice to cover for that sin, right? All that is done away with, but that is what we used to do in our ignorance, you know. And we still still are walking around ignorant, you know. When I say we, I mean the nation of Israel as a whole, but the Lord's elect, they have the information that they need to keep them from ignorance, okay? All right? But we read this again. It says, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave you, right? And that word discontinue says let go of, right? And even in today's time, our people have learned the truth and they've turned their back on it. They discontinued from it, all right? You got certain Israelites that were, you know, very popular in the Israelite community, all right? They would speak with smooth things and say all these great things, right? But now they're coming out and saying, hey, you know, they're not a Hebrew Israelite anymore, or they're out there talking about the KJV isn't a good book to, you know, use as a reference to who you are, and all the other dumb shit that Jake is out here saying, right? Some people have tasted the sweetness and the goodness of the Lord, and some people just, and they spit it back out. You know, it wasn't good enough for them, right? But it's only good enough for the Lord elect anyway at the end of the day. Okay? We have been, you know, we as a whole nation here in America, we have been all this for that nation. He has given us all statutes and commandments. He has given us the right way to live, which is within those all statutes and commandments. Okay? This is Deuteronomy. Chapter 4 and verse, I'm going to start at 1, and then I'm going to go back to Revelations, all right? It says, now therefore hearken Israel, Israel, unto the statutes and to the judgments which I teach you for to do them, that ye may live and go in and possess the land which Yahweh your power your fathers giveth you, all right? These statutes and these judgments, when we did them, we lived, okay? Not saying that we live forever, but we live righteously in the eyes of the Lord, okay? All right? We live righteously in the eyes of the Lord, all right? But when we get these law statutes and put on our inward parts, we will live forever then, right? And that's saying the Bible. It says here, verse 2, it says, ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall ye diminish aught from it, that ye may keep the commandments of Yahweh your power, which I command you. All right, the Lord was speaking to the Israelites through Moses, okay? All right? It says, your eyes have seen what Yahweh did because of Baal Peor, for all the men that follow Baal Peor, for Yahweh have destroyed them from among you. All right, our people, even in that time, was following other gods, okay? And the Lord destroyed them, all right? As our people are today following after other gods, the Lord is going to destroy them, okay? And other gods doesn't just mean a picture of an image, right? Drawing or a sculpture of something that our people worship, right? People worship other things such as money, such as women, right? Such as, you know, sporting events. There are many other things in this world that our people are worshipers of, okay? They even worship themselves, okay? All right? And everything that's against the Lord's going to come and destroy. But nonetheless, it says here, verse 4, Deuteronomy 4 and 4, it says here, behold, I have taught you, verse 4, it says, but ye that did cleave unto Yahweh your power are alive, every one of you this day. And that's what we need to do. We need to cleave unto the Lord, right? Let me look up that word, cleave. It says here, cleave to split apart, divide by force, separate. Maybe I'm footnotes for the word cleave, it says hold fast to. All right, here we go. Here goes the second definition for the word cleave, because it's two parts, and I'm looking up on the etymology online. It says adhere to, cling, to stick fast, adhere. All right. All right, and that's what it is that we must do in this time. Cleave unto the Lord. All right. Stick with the Lord. Stay fast with the Lord. How do we do that in this time? By here goes some tools. Having faith first and foremost. Right. Showing your faith secondly. Praying. Trying your best to keep the high holy days. All right. Because all you're doing when you cleave into the Lord is separating yourself from the world. Right. Just as I had read with this example that when Moses was speaking to the Israelites. Okay. Those that claimed unto were all pure, they got destroyed, right? But those that did not cleave unto be all pure, right, and they cleaved unto the Lord, they're still alive in that time frame, right? So if we want to live and not be destroyed, all right, we must cleave unto the Lord as our people have done in the past. He said, so I'm just reading, all right? But then again, you know, our people, we are hard-headed, right? We'll stick with something for some time and then we'll fade away, right? We'll discontinue, we'll let go of that, right? But this is something that we can't let go of, no matter what's said to us, what's done to us, no matter what we got to go through, because guess what? The scriptures say in Acts 14 and 22 that through much tribulation you shall enter into the kingdom, right? Just go from paraphrasing, right? Nonetheless, going back to Deuteronomy 4 and 5, it says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahweh my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whether ye go to possess it. Therefore keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nation, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great who hath Yahweh so nigh unto them, as Yahweh our power is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? Right? That's what we must cleave unto. That's what we must go back to, right? And the only way we're going to go back there is if we, one, cleave unto the Lord. Two, all right, let go of this place. Okay, let go of America. Let go of everything that's tied to keeping you here, right? Going back into Deuteronomy, the 5th chapter and the 6th verse, it says, and behold, oh, I'm sorry, I did read 5, right? 5 has stated that the Lord loosened the 7 seals thereof, right? Which the Lord has given us an understanding through a sacrifice, ultimately, which is going to read, right? But with that understanding that the Lord has given us through his sacrifice, we are brought back into our heritage partially, okay? When I say partially, we have the knowledge that we're Israelites, we can try to keep the laws that's possible for us to keep, okay? But we are still subject to the bullshit of America and wherever brothers are spread throughout the 4 corners, right? Now, when that other partial part happens, when they meet together, right, is when we want to be the key when we enter that second covenant, right? I'll speak about that, right? But we are walking back into our heritage that the Lord gave us, right? And that has happened through the sacrifice that Yahweh Shah has put up, right? Which is very part of the gospel. And part of that gospel is, yes, the Lord made a sacrifice, but who was the sacrifice for, right? Nonetheless, Revelation 5 and 6, it says, and behold, I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne of the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders stood a lamb as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of Yahweh sent forth into all the earth. And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. So Yahweh took the hand out of took out of the heavenly Father's hand, right? taking the book, the 4 beasts and 4 and 20 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of the saints. Are you so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native American Indians? Okay, all right. It's not any other individual that can be a saint. Okay, all right. Unless their seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. This is this is one. All right. It says he also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him. All right. So the saints are the Israelites. Okay. Here's another one. It says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and ever. Right. That kingdom is the Lord's, Yahweh's kingdom, right? And the Israelites are going to be rulers within that kingdom. That's part of this glory that's going to come at the end of this age, at the end of this world, at the end of this life, okay? Psalm 50 and 5. It says, gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice, right? And who are those individuals that made a covenant with the Lord, right? The covenants with the Lord, all right? Abraham made a covenant, Isaac and Jacob, they were involved in a covenant, all right? And lo and behold, the Israelites, all right, they are the ones that make a covenant with the Lord or have made a covenant with the Lord via sacrifice, because within the laws, there are certain particular laws that require sacrifice for transgressions and things of that nature, right? So those are only individuals that can be saints, right? So going back to Revelation, the 5th chapter, right? It says here, and they sung a new song saying, thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, right? The book is here, man. All right, the seals are giving us these. The Lord has given us the understanding that we need. Right? It says here, and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to Yahweh by blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. Right? The Lord has done this with a sacrifice. All right, He redeemed us. Where He redeemed us from? All right, out of the hand of the people that hate us. Right? You got questions on that?
Well, I'm just curious about what this is. What's going on here?
All right, so what I'm doing out here, I'm teaching the Bible, right? You ever heard of that? You see yourself on the sign right here. If your father goes back to the sign right here, right? These are the tribes, right? And then these are what they call us today, right? It's Asian, right? So if you see yourself on this side of the sign, you're over here somewhere, right? So So what do the people call you a so-called Negro, or are you from West Indies? Are you a Haitian, or are you a, I'm just speculating by looking at you, but none of what I see matters. It's just, a question in regards to, you could be North American Indian as dark as you are, But what I'm doing is preaching to the people that you see on the sign, because the Lord said He was coming back and our people will be warned before His return. And the only people that's going to warn the Lord's people about His return are the same people that warned the Lord's people in the past time, which is the Lord's prophets. And what did they do? They went out and talked to people in the places of where basically high traffic were. What I mean by that, were in the cities or in the towns where people would be able to hear the word. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm doing. I'm preaching the Bible. So I'm telling our people that's on the sign that they need to turn back to the Lord. Because World War III is right around the corner. Are you hip to what's going on geopolitically in the world?
You mean as far as what's going on with Israel?
And the land of Israel and Iran, America, and all of its wars that it's tied into right now. America and Russia going back and forth, America and China going back and forth, all those things, those are geopolitical affairs, right, which will lead to a war at some point. Not just a small scale war between country and country, but a war that will go, that will involve more than one country. You understand what I'm saying? So that's geopolitical. That's one form of geopolitical. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So part of that is in the Bible, right? I'm gonna just read to you instead of just talking.
Well, I'm curious about, so what started this for you? Kind of what got you on this walk? And then I'm still a bit confused about that side of it compared to this side of it.
All right, so for me, I was at work one day. This was like 2019.
Okay.
And I seen some stuff on the news about Hebrew Israelites, and I didn't know nothing about it. So I started reading. And from there, I picked up the Bible, and I found individuals that teach what it is that I believe, because just like with the church, there's different denominations of certain factions in the church. You got Christianity and non-denominational and all that stuff. Yes, sir. So there are Hebrew Israelite groups that's out there that don't teach the same doctrine. Some Israelite groups say that, hey, white people can make it, right? But in the scriptures, it doesn't say that, right? It only says that the Lord's going to deliver and save Israel. That's the only nation of people that's going to be delivered, right? But you'll have Israelite groups that say, hey, the mark of the beast is the RFID chip. You'll have other Israelite groups that say it's different. So we all may be under the same banner, but we all don't say the same thing. My point is saying that I found an Israelite group that showed me to believe what is actually in the Bible, not what somebody saying should be in the Bible with their interpretation. What the Bible says is just clear and strict in the Bible. So what I found out in that news article that I read, and they were clearly shown this sign, and I was like, hey, I'm a so-called Negro. The world looks at me like a so-called black man. So based on who my father is, right, because that's where the lineage starts with your father, because that thing you have to determine who the child is going to be, right? Whether it's a male or a female, and you determine the nationality of that child, because it comes from you first. It's just planted in some fertilizer. So let's say if you do you have any children? Okay, so if you were to have a child with a white woman, right? That child would be considered mixed looking in the world, but ultimately because that child came from you first, you as the man, you have to see that child as what you are. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna use that But as I look for this, I'm gonna answer your other question. So with me doing research got me into figuring out, hey, who I am, learning about the oppression that I'm going through, that my people has gone through. So this is Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18. It says, and they assembled all the congregation of the day, on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward. So the pedigree, the lineage started with, the father, right? Everything starts with the man. Everything starts with the man. It doesn't matter how the world tries to push things. The man is the Lord is the man. He created it. So when you have kids, whether you put that kid, your seed in a Chinese woman or a white woman or an Indian woman, that child is going to be what you are. Does that make sense? Because you have the seed. So let's say if you take an apple seed from America and you go plant it in Japanese one that's fertile over there in Japanese, it's still gonna be an apple seed that was grown, that was harvested here in America, right? Does that make sense? So it's over there, it's gonna be harvested as a seed that grew up in Japan, but it was fostered or it was made here, so that seed is just transported from here to over there. You get what I'm saying? I feel like I'm long with saying the same thing over and over. But so to answer your second question, with just me doing research and studying and learning, and then going out to talk and converse with people to understand to get better understanding, I came upon a group of men called Great Millstone, and I learned and joined with them for some time, and then I moved out here. So to answer your question about this sign right here, this is just a depiction of, some of our people are visual learners, and some of our people are audio learners. This is just a sign right here to show you, hey, these are the 12 tribes of Israel, what Jacob's children were called, and these are what they are called here today, right? And this is here also in the Bible. I'm gonna get it for you, and then I'm gonna answer your other question about the sign of that. This is Ezekiel. This is Ezekiel, the 37th chapter. It's kind of long, but I'm started at the top. It says, the hand of the Lord was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord and set me down in the midst of the valley which was full of bones, and he caused me to pass round about them, and beheld they were many, and in the open valley, lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Yahweh power, because Yahweh is his name. Thou knowest. Again he said unto me, prophesy unto these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith Yahweh power unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. So my point of reading this to you is that the Lord, he speaks through men, right? The Lord ain't coming down here to speak to nobody specifically, right? The Lord speaks through men. So the Lord had Ezekiel prophesy to those dry bones. Those dry bones were individuals that was in a wayward mindset, meaning that they were following after other customs that were out of like our people are today, right? And our people follow after Jesus Christ. Our people follow after the Muslim God, the Buddha God, all these other gods. Our people chase after money, chase after women, chase after all these things. But when that word breath here, it has in my footnotes, it says it's a spirit, right? So when you hear words change your mindset sometimes. Sometimes words will bring you up, or sometimes words will bring you down, right? They change your spirit. So when these words are spoken, it's supposed to change how you think, especially if it resonates with what's being said to you. Like if what I mean by resonate, what I mean by that is if what is being said to you, it messes with your mind and your spirit, like they go together. You know what I'm saying? Like it's meant for you to hear it. So I lost my point of what I was saying, but I'm gonna keep reading. It says, and I will lay sinews upon you and will bring flesh upon you to cover you with skin and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to bone. And when I beheld, and lo, the sinews and the flesh came upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Then he said unto me, prophesy unto the wind, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith Yahweh power, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. Right? So the word of the Lord, I'm not the only Hebrew Israelite out here. There's other Hebrew Israelites out here that I've been told, but there's Hebrew Israelites everywhere, right? They're out here preaching everywhere. So the word of the Lord has gone, everywhere to the four winds, and those individuals that's supposed to wake up and get the understanding of the Bible, they're going to get it, because just how I found it was just looking at some stuff at work, but everybody has their own walk into the truth or their own walk into something that they're going to get into and never walk. Does that make sense? So there's individuals out there that live in Australia that have heard about the truth. There's individuals out there that live in Trinidad and Cambodia. There's people that live in Japan that have heard about the truth, and if it resonates with them and they believe it, then whether they look like this or not, but their seed line goes back to one of these individuals that's on this sign, then they're Israelite. All right, but now I'm gonna get to the part where this sign we were told to make this sign. All right, this is
what Bible do you use?
The KJV. This is the King James version. It's not the 1611, but I don't have a 1611, but this Bible right here, this book right here, is messed with Bible instruction group. They took this book out. This is also about astrology. But the 1611 King James Bible, or the King James Bible, is what I use. Sometimes I look at the NLT on my phone because it gives a better understanding to individuals that may be listening, even to myself.
You might do some research into the King James Bible.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
So you might look into the history of the King James Bible.
So, okay, I mean, I know that, history says, he may be a homosexual, he may not be black, but I don't care about none of that. What I care about is what the word of the Lord says. So I could care less what somebody's story is behind the King James. If the word of the Lord is moving me to do something that the Lord wants me to do, I can care less about what somebody says.
I understand that, but even with that being said, right?
Yes, sir.
If someone who is supposed to be a man of God, is supposed to be a good person, who claims that, they're about righteousness, if they're living in sin and they make a Bible, should you really not pay attention to who that person is if you were to purchase something from them?
I mean, if that's your course of life, then yeah, that's your cup of tea. But that's not my course of life. We all sin against the Lord. Even the people that who weren't supposed to get the law, they commandments, they do things to transgress the laws of the Lord. So am I supposed to look at this man differently because he's doing the same type of wickedness that I am? The only difference is that I'm trying to correct myself. Whether he corrected himself before he died or not, it has nothing to do with me. This right here is what has something to do with me. It's teaching me who I am. It's teaching me to change myself and to be a better person than the way I was brought up in the world. Does that make sense?
That's fair, but I would also argue that I'm with you where it's less about the person and it's more about the sin, right? If whatever they got going on is between them and God, right?
Yeah.
But where that line is drawn, right, should be, okay, if this is this person's intentions and this person comes out with a version of the Bible, when there's already a version of the Bible, why did this person come out with a version of the Bible, right?
Okay.
And at that time, if he's a ruler, right, it would be a benefit to look into why this ruler decided to make his own Bible. That's what I'm getting at.
Yes, sir. So I do understand that, but I don't have, the knowledge, maybe what you have in that regard. So if you got a little history that you can kick to me and I can do some research on it, that's cool. But, my primary purpose is not to research somebody's past. My primary purpose is to understand the Lord's people's history as a past, so I can tell, so I can tell the Lord people what they did wrong and how can we fix ourselves.
Understandable,
Yes,
right? But what I would say is, if you're reading a Bible that someone else made and someone else, right, has a history, then if you read from what that person has published, then that's going to affect your walk.
I do understand what you're saying because it's written from his point of view, right?
Right.
It's written from his point of view, and his point of view, it may be different from, how the world is today or what the world is today.
Well, the actual
Yeah. So I do understand that, right? And then it also goes back to, now I got to look at myself, right? Because this man, he lived a certain life, he did whatever it is that he did, and then the Lord gave him an opportunity to rewrite the Bible. Well, okay, that's cool, but now I got to look at what's it saying to me and how can I correct myself, you know what I'm saying? I can't worry about what King James did and what he didn't do, right? Because that's not going to help me get saved. Worrying about what another man did ain't going to help me get saved.
Yeah,
But if I can learn from this, whether it was written by King James or you, right? If it's going to teach me how I can help my family and help my people that's on the sign to be better and get closer to their power, which is who we have separated ourselves from by following the things of the world, then I'm going to do it. That's because I don't understand.
But here's another thing, right? And I think that's extremely respectable, right? Is figuring out those things and understanding those things and teaching those things that you believe in. But what I would say is, let's say point A, you're at the beginning of your journey, right? And let's say point Z is where you're like, okay, I've acquired knowledge and I have an understanding and I want to teach this, right? If at point B, right, not at point A, but point B, you've obtained some information that's incorrect. Whenever you get to Z, it's going to cause a lot of issues.
Okay.
Right. So if you're able to figure out, okay, what is actual truth and who am I obtaining information from? What is their history, right? Then once you get to Z, then you're good to go.
Yeah.
You know, but if it can be a problem if, you know what I'm saying, if while you're on your walk, things get a little messed up, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and it's, I'm not saying that, you know, by all means what you're doing is incorrect, or, you know what I'm saying, that you have to look into, you know, all this other stuff that may not pertain to what you're doing, but it's just a perspective that I would encourage looking at, just because whenever you dive into King James and who he was and the reason that he changed the Bible, it may be of benefit to you on your walk as you progress.
I would like to see, do you know, just give me a little quick rundown on what you know. Do you know why he changed the Bible? Do you know?
I do, but I think that it's more beneficial for someone else to do their research rather than just hearing from me, right? Because as you go through it on your journey, then you can see and you can learn and you can be like, okay, you know, this, you know, maybe, you know, you say, okay, this, I know what he did, I understand it, and I'm okay with it, or maybe not.
Yeah.
Right?
So what I know is, so what I know, right? What I heard, because I don't know, because I'm not back there in that time, right? That what I've heard is that, you know, he was a homosexual, right? I don't know that, right? It's just what I heard, and then there's things that happen in life that stuff can be altered. You know what I'm saying? Stuff can be rewritten, stuff can be changed, whatever the case may be. Now, do I let what somebody said change my path, or do I let what somebody does change what I know my goal and my mission is? No, I can't.
Right.
And we're just saying the same thing back and forth ultimately, just differently. And but I do respect what it is that you're saying. You know, you're telling me to, hey, get into some more research, which is cool. I got to get in there and get more understanding, because that's going to help me be well equipped or better equipped for situations like this, if that makes sense. So I'm definitely not against doing research on it.
That's what I'm just saying, you know.
Yes, sir.
And you know, it's up to you if you want to do it or not. It's just something that I think would be of benefit, understanding that, because, you know, different Bibles have different ways of saying things, you know what I'm saying? And so you just want to make sure that, okay, if this is what I believe in, and, you know, what I'm reading from and what I'm telling other people, it all aligns.
Yeah, right? I believe all this aligns with what I believe first and foremost, because a belief comes from a thought, right? You have to think something to be able to believe it to be true. And yes, these thoughts that came from, you know, the words of men, but then if I have a resource, which is the Bible, to turn back to back up those words of men,
absolutely.
And all that's going to do is just further my belief and further my faith. So not saying that, just this is just what I'm seeing from what you just told me, you know. You said could be a lot when you said, you know, the A to B thing, the Z thing. You said it could shake my faith, or it could make me straddle the fence, or whatever the case may be, right? You said could, but I'm looking at what you're saying to potentially be a test. You know what I'm saying? Because we test it every day, we realize it and we don't realize it. But I'm looking at what you're saying to be a test, because maybe you're here to try to shake my faith or whatever it may be. Not saying that's your intentions, but that's just a possible thought that I had, you know. But because you kept saying could, and that's when you said could like two or three different times. That's when it popped into my mind. But I don't get any bad vibes from you or anything like that. You're just another curious man in life walking something that caught your eye, and we're just having a cordial conversation. That's how normally it goes. But then sometimes people get emotional about things that being said, and you know, as I'm out here by myself, a lot of those individuals I learned to not be that type of mindset. Absolutely. And I'm not trying to have the Lord ministry be blamed for anything that could potentially happen. But no, I'm just out here preaching, man. You know, every Friday I'm out here, you know, because this is what I
Friday.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm out here every Friday. It depends on what time I get off of work and the weather. I was roaming over there, but the sun was like beaming right there. Then I had got into it with some judge over there. She was being like an asshole. She was over there trying to do some everything, and I'm just quiet as I'm talking to you right now. She was just, you know, trying to exert her authority over me. I'm out here pushing. I ain't doing it. But she didn't like what the sign said. It doesn't matter. I'm not here for it. But I'm gonna read you this. I'm gonna read you some more on this, and then I'll answer your question on the other side if you got time.
Okay.
You don't. It's okay if you don't. It's okay if you don't, sir. I'll be out here next week.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you're gonna be out here, you know, I'll definitely be looking for you.
Yes, sir.
We can have some further conversations.
Yes, sir.
I'm all about learning.
Yeah,
right?
me too.
And
yes,
I'm all about perspectives, and I love to have conversations
yes,
about stuff. You know, and just, you know, as you do your research and whatever you find, you just kind of, we can have a conversation about that.
Yeah, I'll do some research. So if you're out here next week, I'll have my notepad and the stuff I looked up.
Okay.
I got you. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, God bless you, sir. I don't know if you believe in God, but God bless you, sir.
Yeah.
You know, God bless you.
You as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Take care.
You do the same. All right, so I'm gonna keep reading from Ezekiel the 37th chapter. All right, so this is Ezekiel 37 and 10. It says, "So I prophesied and he commanded as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived, and they stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army." And that's starting to happen now, man. The words of the Lord are being published throughout the four corners of the globe, like I was telling that gentleman. There's people in Cambodia, there's people in Africa, all over Africa, there's individuals in Australia, London, wherever, you know. The words of the Lord has spread throughout the four corners of the globe, and because that word being spread throughout the four corners of the globe, the Lord's elect, all right, is standing up, literally. They're standing up spiritually, man, okay? They're coming back to their faith, they're coming back to the Lord, their heritage that was taken away from them, okay? Because of their transgressions and things of that nature, right? It says here, then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, oh, our bones are dry, and our hope is lost. We are cut off of our parts. All right, and we've been cut off from the Lord, man. All right, we've been severed from the Lord, right? We've been severed from the Lord because of our transgressions, because of our iniquities, because of the things that we've done wrong against Him, right? The idol worshiping is the main thing, like I had mentioned earlier, right? The Lord's going to destroy a lot of our people because they're still in this mindset of idol worship, right? It says here, therefore prophesy and say unto them, thus saith Yahweh, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel, right? The Lord is literally going to bring us back into our land, man. But this place, America, has to be destroyed. This place, America, will be destroyed. This place, America, is going to be destroyed, okay? All right, because an evil rulership can't rule with a good rulership, okay? All right? And America is an evil dynasty, an evil empire, right? And the Lord's empire is going to be righteous. Those two things can't mix, and they won't mix. So one has to go, and the one that's going is this American empire, okay? All right? It says here, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh when I have opened your graves, and O my people, and brought you up out of your graves. And shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land, and ye shall know that I, Yahweh, have spoken it and performed it, saith Yahweh. And this is what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the Lord to perform this, man, to put us in our own land, put a different spirit on us, man. So I ain't got to see my people out here laid out in the streets in this damn heat, you know, thirsty, don't got nothing to drink, don't got nothing to eat, talking to themselves because they bugged out on drugs, you know. I'm tired of fucking struggling every goddamn day of the week, all right? I'm tired of not being able to be around my family. not my family in regards to my parents, but my family in regards to my children. I'm tired of not having things that I desire. Or if I have something that's only with me temporarily, or the things I do desire, I can't even get a hold of it, man. I'm tired of living in this kind of environment, man. I'm tired of waking up, going to work every day, slaving for pennies on the dollars to be taxed at every which way from Sunday to be giving our money to people that don't have nothing to do with us as a nation. When I say as a nation, I mean here in America, man. All right? There were some clips where I seen on social media where the taxes that we pay, they go over there to fund those Israeli people, man. All right? There's nothing beneficial happening to you so-called Neo-Latinos and Native American Indians here in this state, okay? When I say in this state, I mean in America, in this country, in Texas, because that's where I'm currently at, you know? None of these things happen. Nothing here is beneficial for you, right? So we need to be crying and praying unto the Lord to get us up out of this fucked up mindset, this fucked up state that we in, this fucked up mindset that we in, where we out here killing our own people, all right, influenced upon the music and drugs and money. All right, we are all fucked up out here, all right? I forgot where I was at before Homeboy pulled up, man. I was thinking I was reading Revelations. This is Revelation chapter 5. Revelation 5 and 9, it says here, and they sung a new song saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to Yahweh by thy blood out of every kindred, tongue, and people and nation. Because as a part of losing our heritage, we were scattered throughout the four corners of the globe, right? You read Deuteronomy 28. You can read Deuteronomy. That's one I always go into when I'm here at camp. Deuteronomy 30, right? Deuteronomy 30, right? Where the Lord said He's going to scatter us, man. So when, as I was explaining to the gentleman about the man being the seed, holding the seed, right? And the man dictating the sex and the race or nationality of the child, right? It's all about the seed, right? It's all about what the man, and as we were scattered throughout the four corners of the globe, guess what? Our seed was also scattered. Our seed was also put into a place where we were, right? And if we were here, over there in the land of Israel in, you know, I'm just going 528 BC, and then we got split from Israel to go into Babylon and just into a captivity, right? Those men that had relations with the women in that state or that city, their children were Israelite children, okay? All right? Whether they had sex with a Babylonian woman or a Persian woman or whomever, right? Those men had seeds that went back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? So that's how the Lord and why the Lord will redeem us out of every kindred, tongue, people, and nation, right? Because we were scattered, and within that scattering process, okay? Within that scattering process, all right, we have grew, all right? Our people, our seed was scattered. Within that scattering process, we have had children, and those children had children, and so on and so forth, okay? All right? And the Lord's going to redeem us from these different places where we've been scattered, because Israel is everywhere, right? This is Revelations 5 and 10. It says here, and has made us into our power kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. All right, so the Lord and his greatness and his mercy and his love and care for his people through his son's sacrifice has made us kings and priests, okay? So with us being made kings and priests, we are going to be in that position where much glory doeth abide, okay? All right, so I'm going to read this again. This is 2 Ezra 7:42, he answered me and said, this present life is not the end where much glory doeth abide. Therefore they have prayed for the weak. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time and the beginning of immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. All right, so that's what we want, right? We want to be in a place where we are going to live and be in perfect peace forever, right? That's not going to happen while America, that's not going to happen with these other nations thinking that they have as the next superpower, right? Because they don't, and that's not even biblical for them to have that. The next group of individuals that's going to be ruling, right, is the Lord, right, and His people, okay? And that's where much glory doeth abide, okay? And I'm going to get some stuff in regards to that. This is Acts chapter 1 and verse 6. It says, when they were therefore come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? So the kingdom that's coming is the kingdom of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, right? And this is what the Lord said. He said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons of which the Father hath put in his own power. But ye shall receive power after that the Holy Spirit is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost parts of the earth. And that's what we out here doing now. How you doing, sir? That's what we out here doing now, being witnesses unto the Lord because of his sacrifice, right? Because he came, as I had read in Revelation the 5th chapter, he loosened the 7 seals thereof. All right, gave us that understanding through the Holy Spirit to preach and teach this word, okay? To tell our people to turn back to him, to tell our people to stop worshiping white man Jesus, okay? All right? Sorry, I got a book in my nose, right? But the kingdom that's coming, all right, upon the Lord's return, even they knew it. That's why they asked the Lord, is he going to set up the kingdom of Israel at this time when he came back, all right, before he went after his resurrection, okay? After I think he spent 40 days with the apostles, okay? That's 40 days, okay? All right? After those 40 days, okay, the Lord went back to the heavens, okay? All right? And they knew that the Lord was going to come to set up the kingdom. That's why they asked, right? But is that kingdom set up now? No. We are living in the American kingdom, right? The American empire, right? Once this empire goes down, then the Lord's empire is going to be next, okay? Where much glory doeth abide, okay? All right? Let me get, where is it? Just on the page. I think it's different scriptures, man. This is Isaiah chapter 2. Now I'm going to talk about where much glory doeth abide now. There's some scriptures on that, okay? All right, because I want to. It says glory in the verb sense. It says to boast, vaunt, brag, pride oneself. All right, that's the verb sense. It says honor, renown, splendor, magnificence, pomp. Okay, let's look at this word magnificence. All right, we see splendor, magnificence. Splendor goes into magnificent and splendid appearance, how are we going to be? We're going to be like, we're going to be God, right? So that's going to, our appearance is going to change, okay? All right? The scriptures say that we shall be like him. This is 1 John 3 and 1. It says, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us that we should be called the sons of Yahweh. Therefore, the world knoweth us not because it knew him not. Right? The world does not know Yahweh Shemashah, but the Lord has men set up around the globe to teach the world about Yahweh Shemashah. More specifically, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Okay? All right? Beloved, now are we the sons of Yahweh, right? And it does not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall all see him as he is. And every man that hath this hope in him purifieth himself, even as he is pure. All right. So we're gonna be like the Lord. All right. We're gonna be and have that God type power. We're gonna be in that angelic, otherworldly type mindset, okay, all right? And everything about us is going to be perfect, inside and out, all right? And that's only for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man, all right? Not you other nations, okay, all right? It's not, y'all are not gonna be as we are, okay, all right? All right, that was for that word splendor that I looked up. We're talking about appearance, okay? Let's see. It says magnificent, I looked it up because that has something to do with glory. It says impressively beautiful, elaborate, or extravagant. All right, and that's how the kingdom's going to look, all right? There's not going to be concrete everywhere. There's not going to be roots and trees growing through stop signs, okay? There's not going to be these damn concrete brick buildings, all right? The scriptures say the streets are going to be paved with gold. Let me see if I find it. Revelation 21. This is Revelation 21 and 9. It says the New Jerusalem. All right, this is that splendor, that beauty, that magnificence that we have to look forward to in the Lord's kingdom, where much glory doeth abide. Right? It says here, and there came unto me one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials full of the seven last plagues, and talked with me, saying, come hither, I will show thee the bride and the lamb's wife, right? Which is the elect, okay? All right? And he outshines the lamb, okay? All right? It's a marriage supper between the Lord's elect and the Lord, all right? It says, and he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem descending out of heaven from power, having the glory of Yahweh, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and had a wall great and high, and 12 gates, and the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. All right, that's it. This is another tall tale sign to tell you that the kingdom of Israel is only for you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Okay. It says on the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, on the west 3 gates, and the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. Right? Those, you know, Matthew, Mark, John, Peter. All right, I don't know all of them off the top of my head. Right? It says, and he talked with me, and had a golden reed to measure the city and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof. And the city lieth 4 squares, 4 square and 4 lengths, as large as the breadth. And he measured the city with the reed 12,000 furlongs. The length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. Right? So this is a great city. It's a big city. Right? It says, and he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man, that is of an angel. And the building of the wall of it was jasper, and the city was pure gold, like unto glass, like unto clear glass. And the foundations of the wall of the cities were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third chalcedony, the fourth emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth sardines, the seventh crystallite, the eighth beryl, the ninth a topaz, the 10th a crystal frasus, the 11th a jacinth, the 12th a amethyst, and the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of 1 pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. So what I just read is about to be is talking about the beauty of Jerusalem, right? The gates, the streets of gold, those precious stones, okay? That's going to be a splendorous thing. I can't even imagine fully what that looks like, even after reading it, okay? I'm going to read it in a different version. But that's what I was thinking while reading it, to try to get a better understanding. This is this is Revelation 21 in the NLT. We'll start at 14. The wall of the cities had 12 foundation stones, and on them were written the 12 apostles of the Lamb. The angel who talked with me held in his hand a gold measuring stick to measure the city and the gates and its walls. When he measured it, he found it was a square as wide as it is long. In fact, its length and its width and height were each 1,400 miles. All right. It says, then he measured the walls and found them to be 216 feet thick, according to the human standard used by the angel. The wall made of jasper, and the city was pure gold, as clear as glass. This is what's coming to us, man. This is what the Lord has coming to us, so we're not out here walking and standing on the concrete. I wouldn't even want to walk on the streets of pure gold. I would just float above it, man, because I'm gonna have that ability to do so. Okay. It says here, the wall of the city was built on foundation stones laid in with 12 precious stones. The first was jasper, the second sapphire, the third agate, the fourth emerald, the fifth onyx, the sixth carnelian, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th chrysoprase, the 11th jacinth, the 12th amethyst. Amethyst. The 12 gates were made of pearls, each gate from a single pearl. The 12 gates were made of pearls, each gate from a single pearl. So one pearl made a whole gate. Okay. It says, and the main street was pure gold as clear glass. All right, and that's beautiful, man. That's what we have. That's where the glory of the Lord is going to come. That's the splendor and the magnificence that we're going to receive, where much glory doeth abide when the day of doom comes to strike America. Okay, all right. Let me get this in Revelations as well. This is Revelations 21:1. It says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. So everything that we see here is going to be gone, man. It's going to be gone. In some way, shape, form, or fashion, is going to be gone. Okay. It says here, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from power out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And we just read how it's going to look, right? Starting at the 9th verse in this chapter. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahweh himself will be with them and be their power. That's going to be great. Where we're going to be with the Lord, Yahweh, okay? Who knows how that's going to be, how beautiful that's going to be. All right, I can't imagine it. My mind can't even fathom things that's here in this world, man. All right, but what the Lord has and what the Lord has and what He has coming for us is going to be unfathomable. Okay, all right. The scriptures say the Lord knows the thoughts that He has for us, thoughts of peace, things of that nature. All right. Verse 4, it says here, and Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And I'm going to read 5. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful. So the Lord's going to, where much glory doeth abide, there's not going to be any more crying, no more pain, no more sorrow, and no more death specifically, because the law, statutes, and commandments are going to be put in our inward part. So there's going to be no more death for us. Okay, all right. I got a lot more I want to read. Okay, this is go to Deuteronomy 30. This is becoming one of my favorite chapters because it's telling us what's going to happen to us in the future. All right. This is Deuteronomy 30:1. It says, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether Yahweh thy power hath driven thee. And we are calling them to mind. We are remembering who we are, man. The Lord has set us up to teach our people to remember that they were the ones discontinued from their heritage based on their actions towards the Lord, based on the curses and the blessings, all right? More specifically, the curses, okay? All right? Those curses separated us from our power, even though they followed us wherever we went. All right, that is a tall tale sign of who the people of the Lord are. These curses, okay. All right. It says here, and shall return unto Yahweh thy power, and shall obey His voice according to all that I command thee this day, and thou and thy children with all thine heart, with all thy soul. that then Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return thee and gather thee from all the nations, whether Yahweh thy power hath scattered thee. All right, the Lord's going to gather us from wherever he set us at, and he's doing that now with his word, okay? He's doing it now with his word, all right? It says here, if any of thine be driven out to the outmost parts of heaven, from this will Yahweh thy power gather thee, and from this will he fetch thee. And he's doing it now with his word, okay? All right? It says here, Yahweh thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do good and multiply thee above thy father. And Yahweh thy power will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed to love Yahweh thy power with all thine heart, with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And we're going to live forever, eternally, immortality, okay? Because he's going to put those law, statutes, and commandments in our inward parts, all right? It says here, and Yahweh thy power will put all those curses upon thy enemies and upon them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Look, that's glory right there, to see all our enemies be harassed in the way that we were harassed. All right, let's say if there's, we got, these other nations set up in the kingdom to go catch slaves that ran away, right? The same type of oppression that was put upon us in a righteous way, no illicit homosexual acts or acts of adultery. All right, we're not going to do things like that. We're going to put it on them just like they put it on us, man. We got beat, murdered, killed, whatever the case may be. We're going to do the same thing to them if they try to run away from their slavery plan, from their slavery. All right, we're going to do the same things to them. All right. But it's going to be done in a righteous way. All the curses that was upon us are going to come upon them, right? They're going to be they're the head now. In the kingdom, they're going to be the tail, all right? They're going to have to come to us for loans and things of that nature. But we're not supposed to put usury upon our brother, okay? All right, or upon people. So we're not going to put, tax or interest, okay? We're not going to do that because that's not right, all right? Especially to another Israelite man, right? All kind of things are going to happen to them, man. All right, they're going to be separated from their families. They're going to have turmoil within their relationships. All right, it's going to be horrible for them because the Lord's going to put those curses on them. He's going to lift those curses off of us. Okay. All right. It says here, and thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yahweh and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. And Yahweh will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, and the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land for good. For Yahweh will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy father. If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh, to keep his commandments and his statutes which are written in this book of the law, and if thou turn unto Yahweh with all thine heart, with all thy soul, for this commandment which I command thee this day is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven that thou shouldest say, who shall go up for us to heaven and bring it down unto us that we may hear it and do it. Neither it is beyond the sea that thou shouldest say is, who shall go over the sea for us and bring it unto us that we may hear and do it. But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thine heart, that thou mayest do it. And the Lord's going to put these law, statutes, commandments in our inward parts so that we can do it, so that we will do it. Okay, and I'm going to get there here in a second, all right? It says here, see, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil, and that I command thee this day to love Yahweh with thy power, to walk in his ways, and keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And Yahweh thy power shall bless thee in the land where thou goest to possess it. Right? So that's what's going to happen. The Lord's going to bless us. He's going to increase us, our seed, the fruit of our land, of our cattle. He's going to give us everything that our hearts desire, man. That's the place where much glory doeth abide, okay? I'm going to get this in Hebrews 8, then I'm going to close out. Because in order for us to love the Lord with all our heart and soul, we're going to have to be changed, all right, mentally, all right, spiritually, physically, okay? This is Hebrews chapter 8, before I get that, let me get this in Ezekiel. We'll read this again. This in Ezekiel chapter 37. No, 37 and 14. It says, and shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live. And I will place you in your own land. Then ye shall know that I am Yahweh. Then ye shall know that I Yahweh have spoken it and performed it, saith Yahweh. So Lord's gonna put us in our own land, put his spirit in us, man. Okay? And this is also where much glory doeth abide, man. Because once we have these law, statutes, commandments on our inward parts, we're gonna be perfect. Okay? Alright? And so why do you have Hashem outside for this? For everything, honestly. You know, the good times and the bad, right? It says here, but now, this is Hebrews 8:6, it says, but now he hath obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which is established upon better promises. For if the first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, both the northern and southern kingdom, okay? Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith Yahweh. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel, both the northern and southern kingdom. After those days, saith Yahweh, I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know Yahweh, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. Alright? And that he saith a new covenant he hath made before old, now which decays and waxeth old is ready to vanish away. So we're not in this covenant yet, but we're going to get there, Lord will, sooner rather than later, okay? All right, but this is where much glory doeth abide when we get into the Lord's kingdom, all right? Immortality from the law, statutes, commandments being put in our inward parts, being with our Lord, all right? Seeing, all right? Actually seeing the Lord, right? I'm assuming that's going to happen, right? No more tears, crying, sighing, and whining, pain, no more working, a damn dead-end job to pay taxes. The curse is going to be over our enemies' heads instead of ours, right? Things of that nature are lined up with where the Lord's kingdom, where much glory doeth abide, man. And no glory that we can get and receive here is going to compare to what the Lord's going to give us in the kingdom, man. Also, the scriptures say, I think it's in John 14:2, maybe. The Lord said, in my Father's house I have many mansions. If it was not so, I would have told you. Those many mansions go far beyond what we can see here with the human eye, man. Look at all those stars and galaxies and planets and universes that's out there beyond what we can see. Those belong to us, man. All right. But Lord, will you was edified to the next time. Give all praise and honor going to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of the great millstone, and we want to teach y'all. Party Shalom to the elect. Now Shabbalam, Wafa, Yahweh, Yahushai, Shalom.